What? 2 rant videos in one day? Friendly, what are you doing? Well, what I'm doing is trying to keep you guys entertained, and I just have an announcement to make. I joined a partnership thing with this thing called Freedom, and Freedom is basically a partnership program, except I don't have a YouTube partnership because I'm 14 and I probably won't be able to do that shit. So, I just wanted to give a thanks to one of my friends at school for telling me about this, and honestly I totally forgot about it until I saw grade under A mention something about a partnership and I just thought of it, so I decided to get it. So, again, thank you for Riley. And without further ado, let's begin. Now today I'm going to be talking about Nickelodeon. Now this will be my second rant video. Nickelodeon being the weird channel that they are. They're really bad channel nowadays. And they're doing horribly. Unlike Cartoon Network, they are doing horribly. Honestly, Cartoon Network may be going a little bit downhill. Trust me, it was much better way back when I was younger. But fortunately, Cartoon Network actually has some good shows to stick around. Like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Clarence, We Bare Bears. Those are all really good shows. And Disney XD, on the other hand, since Gravity Falls just ended, I'm not sure about that, because they have Pickle and Peanut and everything. But still, Cartoon Network does have its bad shows, like the Canadian shows they've been airing. They're horrible, they're bullshit. And now, I guess we're talking about Nickelodeon now. Nickelodeon being the complete downhill, whatever you want to call it. It's bad now. And by the way, this time I won't be reading it off the script, so hopefully I don't sound as weird as I did before. Hooray! So, let's begin. Now, Nickelodeon was good back in the 90s. And honestly, I was born in 2001. Like I said, I am currently 14, so I am not a 90s kid. Although I really wish I was. I have seen a lot of good 90s kids out there, and I've heard a lot about the 90s, and I honestly wish I was around then, but I wasn't, and I have to deal with that. All I got were the reruns, which were reruns of Cat Dogs, the Rugrats, which I never really paid attention to, and the Angry Beavers, and even Ren and Stimpy, although Ren and Stimpy was very gross, and I'd have to admit it was a disgusting cartoon, even if people like it. I don't blame them for that, I just really hate it myself. Maybe I'll do a rant on that some other time, but Nickelodeon nowadays is horrendous. Like I said, it's horrible. And by horrible, I mean, the first thing we're going to cover are fart jokes. Overused. Way too overused. Now, a good example of cartoons that overuse fart jokes way too much are The Breadwinners and Sanjay and Craig. These two are pretty much based around fart jokes. They only use fart jokes as humor. And they think it's funny all the damn time. The creators think it's funny every time. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, it's not. It gets old. And when it gets old, I mean, they use it in every single fucking episode. I've honestly never seen Sanjay and Craig through the entire thing. But I remember seeing the mysterious Mr. Enter do an animated atrocities about an episode called Fart Baby. And he said that episode was completely revolved around farts.
Let's ask one simple question. Why are farts funny? When we answer that question, we'll know why this episode fails on such a hard front.
And it got on his nerves, and if I ever saw it myself, it would get on my nerves as well. I actually saw The Breadwinners myself when it first premiered 2 years ago. And it was full of twerking ducks. Google images of ducks. And of course, ducks that look more like the fish from SpongeBob. They don't even look like ducks. I mean, come on! Plus the names are incredibly ridiculous too. I mean, what kind of names are Sway Sway and Badooz? Really now? I know, the YouTube, or Breadwinners was based off of a YouTube video, a YouTube pilot, that has less than 1 million views, or the last time I checked. And somehow, Nickelodeon came across and said, oh, this would make a great cartoon. Let's take it and make it awesome and make it a great cartoon. And guess what? They made it, and it's not a good cartoon. It was never good. All it is fart jokes, twerking ducks, and Google image ducks. So, that's pretty much the breadwinners. And I don't really have much to talk about on Sanjay and Craig. Like I said, I've never seen it. Except for that thing that Mysterious Mr. Enter did on it. And just to say that it was basically fart jokes according to him, and I would probably never watch it, never bother to. So, next thing is the lack of creativity for the older cartoons that are still airing. Let's get to that part. Now for this part, I just wanted to say that some of the cartoons at this part were actually incredibly good a while ago. And by a while ago, I mean years ago. The only two I'm going to talk about now are SpongeBob and the Fairly OddParents, since they're still airing. And guess what? They're doing horribly. They used to be really good. The Fairly OddParents came all around around the time I was born. Actually a little bit earlier. But the thing is, it went downhill really, really fast. Really, 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 really fast. Actually, it stayed put for a while. It was a good show, and then it eventually slowed down after the Poof episode came out and Poof was introduced. Then it became completely crazy and bad. Then, I haven't really seen it in forever, but I heard two things. A dog named Sparky was introduced, a fairy dog, and I heard that episode was horrendous. And there was this other episode that Mysterious Mr. Editor did on Animated Atrocity and explained it much better than I ever would, because I've never seen it myself either. But he said it was really bad, but Sparky was still worse.
Remember how I said that Sparky was the bane of all existence because he was incredibly stupid and his actions caused everyone around him pain? Well, yeah, you can go too far in the other direction too.
And it was where there was a Poof, like an anti-Poof and everything, and well, I haven't seen any of those characters before since the last time I've seen it, so hell if I know who the hell he is. And by the way, there is another new character from that episode. Yay, not. It's a girl, and apparently Timmy had to share his fairies with her. And I forgot her name, and I honestly don't really give a shit anymore. Now on the SpongeBob side of things. SpongeBob kinda had the same thing happen. It was really good for a while, and then it quickly went downhill after a certain event. Now this event was the first SpongeBob movie. The first SpongeBob movie was basically a really good movie, and before that, it was a really good show. But the person behind all that magic was Steven Hillenburg. And the thing about what happened after the SpongeBob movie that made the movie still going, I just want to give a little backstory about it. So after the SpongeBob movie, the first one, was released, Steven Hillenburg said, okay, we're going to end the show here. It's the series finale. I planned on it being the series finale. And guess what? Steven Hillenburg said that, and Nickelodeon just barged in and said, no, you can't take the show away. It's so good. We're making a good profit off of it. So Steven Hillenburg said, fine, but I'm not going to leave the studio. And I'm going to leave this show to Paul Tibbitt, one of the producers. And guess what? That was a really, 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 really bad idea. Paul Tibbitt made it really, really, really bad. Thankfully, there have been announcements that Steven Hillenburg's going to come back for the last season of the entire series, but I don't know when the hell that's happening. So, I hope that happens, and it's just gonna be much better if that ever happens. So I just wanted to get that across. And hopefully SpongeBob comes back. When Steven Hillenburg comes back, SpongeBob does a lot better than it was currently, or for the past decade. Around the decade, yeah. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about are decent shows. Now, actually this one is a little bit beyond decent. I actually enjoyed it. And you know what why this is? because the person who made Chowder created it. And if you don't know what Chowder is, it's a show that aired on Cartoon Network back in 2007, and I looked it up surprisingly my 6th birthday, and it was actually really good. Chowder was a really good show, and I was excited to hear that the creator, C.H. Greenblatt, was coming back. But the part that made me kind of scared was that the fact that it was airing on Nickelodeon, and due to the current state that Nickelodeon's in, I didn't really have high hopes for it until I actually saw it. It was a good show. It was good. It was actually pretty good for something Nickelodeon would make nowadays, honestly. And I'm glad. And if anyone wants to know what this show is, it is Harvey Beaks. It is creative, it has funny parts, it's actually a really nice show. Which is kind of surprising for another Nickelodeon. I mean, at least C.H. Greenblatt worked his wonders. And guess what? Disney XD, I forgot to bring this one up. It has another show, by another creator. And that is Wander Over Yonder. The creator of Foster's, Craig McCracken, made that. And I'm glad. I went to see that one straight after I heard that too. That was also another good one that I forgot to bring up. So, not all of Nickelodeon's shows are bad. Actually, Harvey Beaks is the only good one that I know of that's worth watching. So, I hope Nickelodeon does some better shows like that. Maybe takes some things like Breadwinners off air, which Breadwinners has been up for 2 years now, almost 2 years maybe. Yeah, 2 years now. And it has been getting incredibly bad reception by critics and myself, so I'm guessing I'm going to leave it at that, and time for the final words. And I just wanted to give one last message to Nickelodeon. Why the hell are you keeping Breadwinners and Sanjay and Craig going, along with SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents? They have already been going downhill so much. And I don't get you guys, honestly. You guys don't make any sense. The critics have been giving you so many bad reception things. They've been giving the Breadwinners and Sanjay and Craig horrible reviews. And guess what? You still keep the shows going like it's no big deal. Oh, they're making money. It's actually not. It's not doing shit. What it's doing is making the channel worse, and it's not going anywhere. So, I just wanted to get that out, so see you guys.